that AVANGAR has done properly tonight, as we are now going into the game. It's going to be Border for the first map, straight into the ban phase.
Well, as I said before, Border is a map that I love. If we look at Villa, it's a very tactical heavy one. It's very fresh. It's still kind of creative. Whereas Border, I'm not going to say it's not tactical heavy. We're still seeing adaptation, the whole only doing half of armory wall, but it can be so explosive. It can be so electric so frequently. And I just adore seeing it in play. Now, LeStream were a bit slow on their bans last time, but how do you ban against a team that you do not know?
You just ban operators that are just overall strong on this map, and Thatcher is going to be one to be removed. Now, I do agree with that decision.
It does make, obviously, the armory push a much tighter, worrisome thing.
Same for Office, though. Like, how are you going to get through if you don't have the Thatcher to take down the Bennett Wires or the Kaid Electroclaws? Now, the Capital being removed is actually going to be a pretty big handicap to the sides of LeStream, as you saw how they relied on that last time.
Yeah, well, that was it. It was always a big part of their push. Obviously, Capital's gone through a bit of a renaissance recently with his kind of upgraded radius and the ability to get map control and get push power. And especially, as you said, when you've got these places like offices where you don't have the Thatcher and you're going for these kind of tighter pushes and stuff like that, Valk is a very, very makes sense removal.
Yeah.
So that's, you've got to get rid of her.
Indeed.
Yeah, she's too beastly.
Pretty big information gatherer right there, and that's something that they want to deny. The Echo gonna be off the board as well. That could be potentially hindering them later on, especially since LeStream is starting on the defense. But we have seen last game, they rely a lot on aim as well in these matches.
Yep.
Now, even though Echo has the MP5 with an ACOG, I still think they will prefer the Maestro, the Alda, just a bigger magazine, higher overall damage, over the Echo, which has the opportunity, of course, to deploy those yokais to the night plant later on.
Well, that is a really, really nice balance of soft destruction. Again, what I think we're going to see, you can always say that a tactic is not normally ran in defense. That's when you're kind of being tested as against your defenses. And as we saw before, LeStream had very aggressive defenses, whether they're hiding their kind of more deep strategies or they're happy to kind of go a bit more aggressive with it. So I think that these attack rounds from AVANGAR is going to be quite a battle.
This is going to be crucial for their actual shot that they might have at reaching the miner, because LeStream on attack is actually LeStream on attack is actually quite terrifying, especially if you have the likes of Aces just running in, getting the frags right there and picking your defense apart one. So you need to make the difference now. You need to show what you have on the attack yourself. Try and get as many rounds in as possible to make sure you have a fighting chance whenever you get sent over to the defensive side.
Yeah, now I'm sure you've noticed we're just getting that overlay fixed, but we are running straight into this now. What I kind of expect and want to see a little bit from AVANGAR is a bit of pace, a bit of pressure, because if you start putting LeStream on a back foot where they've kind of got to fall back to strategies and then put them in a mind game where they have to, I guess, think a little bit more about the game instead of make it a bit more comfortable for them, that's when they're going to have to fight these moral dilemmas of, okay, how much of the strategy do we have to run? How much do we have to give away? How much pressure do we have to match their pressure with? Especially, as I said, on a map like Border, where it can be so fluid and it can be so brilliantly balanced between attackers and defenders.
Yeah, and that is honestly the reason why Border is my favorite map. I get so many great memories from myself as well. Like, a defender on this top floor can clutch a 1-on-4 any day. If you have a Nitro Cell in your hands, then you can do literally anything. So a Mira is definitely one of the operators that could be enabled to do something like that. And well, Border is just overall such a balanced map. It could go either way. So I hope that AVANGAR will be using that in their advantage, as they're just playing the information game right now, trying to find out where these players are located, getting some early map control right here, spotting a player outside as well. Just overall, you know, early game.
Yeah, as we can see from expected, there is the runouts going on from the defenders. Uno, who's already had a pretty beastly day so far, just finding fights, but the first one does go to Aces, and then Uno actually claims the second not long after, and that is the Ashen Sledge. Two big bits of soft destruction taken off the table on this map. You do still have your Sophia, you obviously have your Thermite there as well, and that beastly F2 to worry about, but at the same time, that's two very, very big takes.
Yeah. Especially if you saw how it happened. They just rotated down right here, and it's going to be Johnny to... Oh, no. I think Hicks tried to go for a knife or something because he could have instantly gotten that kill right there. Wasn't able to do so. With the Avengers will now get 1 kill in their advantage.
Well, that's the thing. I think that getting the first kill for LeStream is very big. And there's Aces with a double. Oh no, it's starting to come very much to in their favor because, as I said before, the more confident they are, the more this is going to happen. Aces opening this game with a 4K, and they are currently flying very, very high.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Aces just doing Aces things right there, getting the 4K showing why he is one of the best fraggers in the European scene. He just manages to surprise, like every single time I see him play.
That's he's so confident. He has the confidence of 1,000.
He gets into positions where it's like, okay, technically you shouldn't be able to win these, but you're winning these.
And then he just wins. And then he just wins it.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, it's great for us to watch it. It's great for you guys to watch it. It's a bit of stress on our observer who always has to just try and find him, first of all, and see what he's aiming at. But it is exceptional to see. We see them going with a very similar loadout as an attack push. Obviously, it looks like they still want to roll with that soft destruction, which is completely viable on this. Especially when you're pushing this point, you know a lot of people are going to bring Castle normally to kind of get that control of Armory. You need soft destruction because there's so many places to hide as well, and vertical is just very, very important on this point.
Indeed. As we are going to the ventilation room and workshop, we're going to be seeing how LeStream will be setting up. They will be using the mirror, something that they didn't really do too often on the previous matchup we've had. Of course, the ITS-12, you have great for that self-destruction, opening up these vertical angles, denying the side just from above. So you will be forcing them to take top floor first. And with that mirror window setup, it's going to be quite hard to do so.
Yeah, they're very comfortable kind of locking down, and I can't harp on enough about how exceptionally aggressive they are playing, but they're building themselves these kind of barricaded areas to fall back to, but yet to keep these huge sightlines so they can always be aware of where this push is coming from and always just feed and filter that information to players that are just going to run out and go for like 4Ks.
Yeah, like Aces.
Like Aces does.
Yeah.
Here comes the start of the push. They're closing quickly against it. It looks like they're, in fact, not going to waste any time. Camera's going to fire bullets through the door before actually dropping the camera, but you generally, as I said, need that sledge upstairs. You need to start making the defense uncomfortable, pushing them out of position, and finding better ways just to root them out of where they want to be rooted in. But here comes the Ash swinging in as well, trying to put pressure on anyone that might be playing around those officers' side, but so far no bites. Can see they're very much dug in, and there is the one defender. And it's Uno sitting on top of those filing cabinets waiting for someone. No, it's actually just fell off, unfortunately. Caster's curse, but waiting for someone to kind of put the pressure. But it's so far just peppered bullets, and until they manage to get that Bandit Elite out of there, they're going to struggle.
Now, it's as well something Avengers have to worry about, because when you're flushing these people out, you expect them to go into a disadvantaged position, but you also have Aces who just, instead of rotating out, just runs into you when you're trying to flush him out and actually gets you. And Avengers will need to pay attention to that fact that the aggression of LeStream is here. They don't want to show strats, so they go just full on A mode right here, and they need to try and find a way to compensate that. For example, with grenades, as we see 2 frags coming in. It's going to be one from Hicks, one from Rise, and that is once again a double opener on the side of LeStream.
Well, at least they've got one back the other way. Managed to take out Uno, but there is Rise creeping and pushing and pressure, and Aces finds one as well, hopped in, and it's a 2 versus 4. No, I spoke too soon. A 4 versus 1, just down to the Ash, who does manage to catch the man coming up east stairs, but oh, and a beautiful wallbang drops another one, and they have officers control, but you can hear LeStream are still pushing. They're still applying this pressure against a man who is just being forced further and further back and out the map, and you think after getting a 2K, you have a bit of ground, but LeStream are refusing to give it to him.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget, it's only top floor control. There's still a mirror window contesting him right there, and he has to go downstairs into the ventilation workshop. Now, as soon as he will be moving through this, most likely someone will be watching the camera, actually giving the call that they are coming downstairs, and they will know for sure right now as the barricade is going to get opened up. We see the rotate coming through from these players. Both are now located on the bottom floor, pre-firing that door, hoping that they will be picking them up. Attempt at wallbang right there from Rush won't be working. Goes for free fire right there. He's actually going to get spotted out, but the member of LeStream just ducks way too fast before he can actually respond.
Well, 12 seconds left, and you know, this is a very hard spot to be in, but again, LeStream want that kill. They refuse to let that round bleed out. Instead, they wanted to splatter the blood on the walls, and there is the double kill with the exceptional wallbang. Look at that information feed, the sound, the audio. Oh boy, you love to see it. Round 3 we go into, though, and hey, I kind of want to see more of that, Avengers. Sorry.
Assemble.
Assemble.
Just go for it.
Assemble and be merciless. Customs and supply we're going to rotate to next.
Indeed. Third bomb site to come down for LeStream. And customs is the logical option right here.
Wow,
because it doesn't require as much strategy if you have the aim.
Yeah, it's a very fair thing to shout. I mean, to be honest, and I know we often kind of cite this stuff, when you see a team that's coming into a game like this and they're kind of playing on their aim and they're playing like this, they'll start to pick those sites a bit out of the way. You'll see your, you know, Oregon towers and kitchens first. You'll, so they're still going to these kind of reliant points, and as I said a little bit before, they're putting up the skeleton of a standard defense. They're bringing the mirror and putting her in places where you would expect to see the mirror. True. And then they're also then putting one in an aggressive position so they can kind of play around. And, you know, it's a creativity that I guess only really comes with the amount of experience these guys have put into the game.
Like every single strategy, of course, has a framework. And that is what they're working with. They're working with the framework, but they're just they're expanding it with the minimum amount of possibility as possible. Like, they still have unique setups every single round, but it's nothing that is as in-depth as you would see in, for example, Pro League match, where there's like 10 angles to counter one angle. Right here, they're just playing on speed. They're playing on aim. And that is what is keeping LeStream in front right now, and it's just, well, too strong for AVANGARs.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, you're talking about it, and there we see him setting up impact tricking. Hicks is getting himself ready to run on those tactics. He said that, you know, you can be as aggressive as you want, but they're not forgoing their hold. They're not giving themselves up. They're keeping that base and keeping that level, and they're allowing themselves room to play. As you see them aggressively peeking just out there. Uno is covering it as well, but you know, they're running out. They're going for these battles. They're finding fights that are just going to terrify a team that doesn't have as much experience as these guys.
They're just literally contesting everything, and that is something that is so effective if you are the less experienced team. I've experienced it myself once I got up against the terms of G-Bots who actually made Challenge League back then. They just peek everything, and there's constant action, and it's so hard to get. As the first frag now finally happens, it's going to be the frag from Alphamat onto the sledge once again to drop, and LeStream is just wrecking it up right now.
Yeah, and the fact that Rise took that damage from below and then has just held it, and it's going to try and battle against it whilst Toda puts pressure again from that western balcony as well, just shows again the experience that these guys have, that for a lot of other teams, as soon as they started suffering that much pressure, they would have given the ground up. They would have pulled back and gone, right, we've lost this, keep the life, pull back. But LeStream's like, nah, let's just fire it out. Uno, you stay in CCTV, you get the fights across West Balcony. Castle run out and get a double kill. That is what they're doing. And you know, they're setting themselves up because AVANGARs are trusting them to not play like this, and they're going, nah, screw your trust, I'm going to go get a double.
Yeah, we're just doing everything that you hope that wasn't going to happen, as we see Rush there actually getting the first frag of his team. Is going to be joining to pick at one as well, but the diffuser has been dropped, and with 1 minute left, they will have to recover that. Pistol kill comes in right there from Hicks with the Kite. Pistol right there, big scope on it. Using down close range, not really advised. And I'll leave it all up to Johnny in a 1-on-3 situation. C4 pops, won't be dealing any damage. But he's scared. You see, he's not, like, he doesn't know where they are. He doesn't know where they're going to be peeking from. And thus he's moving with extreme caution, but trying to keep in the speed as well that he needs to have a shot.
I will say one thing that we saw, and I'm glad it just happened so I can expertly segue into this, is the drone game. Because we've seen LeStream in the previous map, and they had a very solid setup.
Yeah.
They set up pre-round drones, they were feeding information ahead for each other, and again, who they were playing against as well. Ooh, a little bit of vertical there. They had set up as well. They were droning the Monty ahead. I'm not really seeing that from AVANGARs. And as you said before, when they're entering, yes, Johnny gets a frag, but then suffers the immediate damage because they don't have themselves set up to be able to do it. Withstands, but it's very hard to withstand aces.
Yeah, indeed. And right now we have 3 consecutive rounds in a row, even a 360 finish off from aces right there. Knew he had him down. He had some time. And with that, we are entering round number 4. And what we are seeing right now is just a complete slaughter fest from LeStream, who is aiming for that minor spot.
Yeah, this is them not wanting to mess around. Well, I say that. This is them not wanting to mess around when they're still getting 360s. It's not early rounds. They're playing to win, don't get us wrong, but also they're having fun with it. And I think it's very hard to stop ACs having fun. I believe getting double spawn peak kills with Tachanka I don't think is too out of the equation.
I mean, if we have a 4-0, then we could potentially see Tachanka peak coming in now.
I would be honestly amazed if we didn't at least see it once today. But Armory, we rotate back round to, as you said, they are playing these default points. They're playing points that they would otherwise play if they were going completely to the wall. So it's not to downplay what LeStream are doing by harping on and saying they're just messing around, because they're doing it with skill. They're doing it with the groundwork. They're doing it with foundation. Because, you know, it's like when you quote a player and you say, this guy is fragging out of his mind, and he's just going around killing. Yeah, because he has a great support structure underneath. He has a great amount of information. It's being fed perfectly to him and filtered to what's necessary. That's what makes a fragger great. You know, they're not forgetting that, and it's working beautifully for them. And we kind of look, as we said, at what AVANGAR's are, I would say, not doing so great, and it's working as a team to filter out that initial roam game. Try and get one pick, give yourself a little bit of advantage, make them suffer and stumble a little bit, and then work from there. At the minute, they're generally doing quite a spread push. They're bringing in the groundworks of a strategy, but they're not feeding themselves enough information. They're not bringing enough of that to their push.
If you look at AVANGAR's, though, they have Rush. Rush is a capable frayer. We saw him like in a clutch situation twice, but not being able to win it. Now, maybe if they would be droning him in a little bit more, they would have more success trying to go in. And it's going to be, once again, a mirror frag. Just going aggressive here as well. Is going to get picked up. It's going to be ACs to instantly trade that out. Double kill coming in from Hicks. And out of nowhere, we're 2 minutes 30 in, right? And it's just going to be Toda left.
You know,
30 seconds.
I'm excited to see this game keep going. Wow. That was so fast and so bloody, and you know, in a way, I think that's the right thing for AVANGAR's. They were finding these fights, they were pushing against them. You saw how quickly they had Finka as well for the first time today. We saw Finka, and it just kind of lifted them a little bit into the fight, and they were able to get some revenge frags. And obviously, unfortunately, it didn't go their way, but change is a process, and I am glad that they are looking at, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what they're doing. How can we change it up? Because we've got to.
But the fact that within 30 seconds we have 7 kills already, that is something that just shows the pace of the game that LeStream is putting behind this. AVANGAR doesn't even have the opportunity to enter the building, get control, take the fight to there. It's just LeStream getting the entry, running out with 2 people, making sure that before they can even put pressure on CCTV, they've already lost it.
Well, Vent is their final defense that they'll be going to. I'm actually very glad, obviously, Bandit, for those who are surprised to see this new Bandit. This is the new Bandit Elite skin. And it's kind of fitting that we're in HyperX because it is a very German biker kind of look. So he's come out to play for this, the Allied Minor. But 4-0, AVANGAR's, this was their map pick. This is where they wanted to come. And not only is this a hard one to kind of go for at this moment in time, but the next map you're looking at is LeStream picking Villa, which is still a horrible map for teams that are unprepared. Yeah, definitely. Like, playing Villa, like Villa being the newest map in the map pool. Meta's still establishing. The pro teams, of course, they have their strategies. Now, within a week's time, they're already old because people are constantly innovating. So LeStream actually has the opportunity to show strategy right here. But if with this aggressiveness they have an opportunity to get a 6-0, then I don't know if you count on how many spawn peak windows there are on Villa, but AVANGAR is going to have quite a tough time right here. Yeah, for sure. I'm quite actually excited to see AVANGAR's on defense. What I will say in their benefit is before, they are adapting. They're changing stuff around. They're, you know, even if they're not fully changing the lineup, they're changing who is bringing what operator. We just saw them flirt with the Buck and then drop him as well. They've still got the Finker here, but they've changed who is bringing the Finker, and I really appreciate that because they're at least answering the questions or trying to find answers. And yeah, again, we cannot mention it enough that they're against a very, very strong team, but this is how teams survive in this kind of game, in this kind of matches. You've got to not let your head get bogged down. You've got to kind of pull yourself out a little bit and go, right, this is what we can change. Let's jump over operators. And that is to full credit. AVANGAR's are doing the right steps. It's just a very hard team to do it against. Just remember that LeStream is also the team that beat out Vitality, the new Pro League team, with 7-2, 7-2.
on the French Cup back there. Game is Assembly. So just looking into that, Vitality was absolutely uncontested in Challenge League, and now LeStream just instantly beat them afterwards. And that is their strength. They have the opportunity to read into people, and they found out AVANGAR is weak against fast pushes and just overall aggression. They're not allowing them to play at all.
Well, here we see Sledge trying to put pressure and forces Bandit out of that hidey hole, and they're putting pressure against officers as well. And again, this is great. They're responding to what shut them down last time. They've instantly pushed Bandit out of there from the opposite side. Aces is still playing that security room 90 mirror, but at the same time, now they have a bit more control, and there they've got the lead in terms of frags on the round, and they've dropped Rise, and this is the opposite of how it was going before. And Aces is now pressured out of there as well, and this is exactly what I wanted to see. They're learning, they're moving, they're manipulating, and they're taking control of the game. Aces gets to rotate off, gets pushed back into armor. You can see all of LeStream are dropping to the other level. Hopefully the Sledge hears this and responds, and there it is! This is perfect from AVANGAR, and this is great to have just before we change over to the defending side.
Definitely. We saw LeStream overstaying their welcome right there, just being, you know, thinking they won't peek us when I'm shotgunning this up, but they will. And that is definitely something that we want to see. AVANGAR's now fighting back, having a 2-man advantage. However, with 1 minute left, they will have to make a move soon. And, well, Hicks is still around upstairs, could potentially take down the Sledge player and the person who is backing him up right there.
Well, yeah, you can see, obviously, Hicks is creeping around, and this is something that LeStream are also very good at, as if the list isn't long enough, is retaking ground. And there is one, a beautiful, but also pretty villainous kill there as they go for the diffuser plant. They've popped into vent, and they're just going to try and get it down. And there, for the first time this game, we are in a post-plant situation. And this is where LeStream are going to have to come back round. And Hicks is going for the wide one, but doesn't catch anyone. And there's a man behind him who drops him. Kama, the team captain, finds a frag, and it is now down to Uno Meister to keep this clean sheet as he's creeping around upstairs. He's not quite sure, sees Sledge and drops him with a little bit of ease, but the clock is steadily ticking. Finds another one with a beautiful kill. Now he's just going for the complete wide. He wants the firefight. There is the man, and there is the first round for AVANGAR.
That almost went wrong.
Yeah.
Those two frags, what was Sledge doing there anyway? Like, he should have stayed at the position where he got that first frag, just not be over-aggressive. Look at this one. He shouldn't have been in that position. Now, I get the person going back from the hatch right there, but they almost threw that one away.
Yeah. At that point, you've got to use the audio, because obviously, look how wide that final player was. And yeah, they got the firefight, but if he hadn't have gone for such a wide run out there, if Uno had instead played it a little bit closer to the wall, try and gone for a little bit of a long arm clutch, the amount of time it would have taken to swing back, it would have been so much audio cues, it would have been very easy to respond to. You know, it worked for LeStream. Well, it almost worked for LeStream. Got the 2Ks. You're right. The positioning on the Sledge was pretty questionable, especially as it just got a kill as well. So they know that Sledge is watching that door.
And then you're going aggressive as well. It's not something you want to do. Still managed to work out for them, but it could have been the round lost to LeStream.
But if there is anything to shift momentum a little bit in their favor, this is going to be it. It's going to be obviously just getting that one round before the half and seeing a first defense, because as I said at the very beginning of the game, defenses are what gets tested by attackers. This is where teams like this can kind of have their setups, their pocket strategies, their plays that might be able to take one of these teams by surprise, because you can kind of balance attack. You know they're going to be pushing against you. You know roughly where they're going to be pushing against as well. How are you going to trap them? How are you going to play against them when they really arguably don't know anything about what you guys are going to be trying?
Definitely, and that is going to be the exciting part of the second half. It's going to be Kama on that dock. Expecting some sort of a aggressive play. Indeed, we'll be opening up both those, well, just prepping the window, making sure he can jump through whenever he wants to. Has to watch out that won't be used against him right there. Uno going aggressive, spotting out the Maestro camera right there. We'll be swapping over to the lifeline, but first deploying a drone, making sure it's actually going to be safe to do so. And that is something of the experience and the actual game knowledge that will be deployed right there. See, 7X car was being deployed as well. Shield is going to fall right now. Uno just coming in with a pre-fire, forcing the Maestro to fall back to half wall. And right now they are going for CCTV control.
I think Maestro was a little bit unlucky not to actually get any bullets against Uno there. The positioning was quite nice. Obviously, seemed to struggle to find the pixel in the pixel peak, but has fallen back to half wall and is looking for another one. And everybody knows how beastly that gun is. And here, Uno is suffering a little bit in this firefight, but it is unfortunately the first kill waiting under the window, though, to quickly pick up another one as Uno finally suffers. Aces finds one against the team captain Kawa, who has taken out the equation, and there is another one for Rise, 4 versus 2, but it's Legion and Maestro still on the board, but time is for sure in the hands of the attackers now, as there is so much left on the clock. There is Johnny actually getting one across 90. Now it's just the calls coming in and a little bit of breathing room for the defenders.
Yeah, they have a small time frame to pick themselves back up right here, as we are a little bit of a stall moment right now. Members of LeStream are setting up. They're getting into position to go for the final execute, and that will take them roughly 20 seconds, it looks like, before they will make a move. Johnny has to be careful not to get peeked from the east stairs, because a player could be there at any moment, of course, as the next set of X-Skyers will be deployed onto triple wall. Together with that's
double
interesting.
Hard together, working as a unison, and Johnny just finds double kill. It doesn't matter what you do, I'm going to get the kill anyway. Aces brings it back to a 1 versus 1, but all eyes are on Johnny because everyone's already knows how big of a fragger Aces can be, and no, he pushes right into the Decabi call and suffers her bullets.
Wrong timing right here. We saw the Maestro just running, making sure that he's with his gun down, wasn't able to actually shoot at all. And Aces, well, happily made advantage of that. It's going to be map point for the sides of LeStream, who are going to have to go up to the attack once again, and it's going to be up to AVANGAR to decide where this match may end. And it looks like they're deciding to go to Ventilation Workshop.
You know, if I'm honest, I'm kind of happy about that. Like, obviously, Armory is the beaten path point for this game. It's the one that everyone expects is the first pick. Obviously, Mira is still on the board, and she's off in there. But we did see them playing an interesting Maestro hold, actually. I'm saying that out loud. Yeah, obviously, Vent is normally the second point, but shake them up a little bit. Be a little bit unpredictable. Throw caution to the wind, because otherwise you're going to lose anyway. So bring something new. Bring something a bit dangerous. I say that they're also still bringing a castle, which is a bit expected, and you know, Pulse is a fresh change here on the lineup. LeStream aren't changing anything because they don't really feel the need to, apart from swapping out Zafir. But you know, it's.
But the fact they bring Castle gives away that they are going to be going downstairs.
Yeah. You know, it's the hard balance. It's always a very hard balance when you are the underdog team. Is what do you bring that surprises people with all this experience and all this time on all these different stages? How do you surprise the unsurprisable? You spawn peek with the Chunka. Yeah, I want to see it. Actually, no, that's not, again, too far out of AC's wheelhouse to go for.
But I've seen so many great spawn peeks with the Chunka. It's just that turret with the shield is just absolutely suited for it, because you have it's like Blackbeard, right? Back when he had like the 800 HP shield. But then for the defenders, and you can actually use the spawn peek to put the team at an instant disadvantage. Now afterwards, your turret will no longer be actually useful. But it still works out sometimes, and it's going to be ACs to once again open things up. Drop a cell phone, I believe, outside. Yeah, indeed. And that means that those Maestro cams will soon be spotted out.
Ooh, that's an unfortunate place to die, an unfortunate person to die against, but hey, it's Jaeger, so at least they still have a little bit of utility on the board. You assume that he's put down his at this point in the game. ACs suffers a fair chunk of damage, but is happy to rotate, but no! A beautiful pick against Johnny there, who was trying to find the hole on the 90 window, but unfortunately could not make it work. Uno is putting pressure across from offices, trying to close against Armory, get that vertical, but unfortunately the shots are just a bit too high for the man hiding behind the half wall here, but it is 5 versus 3, and there's still 2 minutes on the clock, which is a huge amount of time, and I think that plays very much to the favor of LeStream, who are so good and so decisive at getting ground, and apparently so brutal as well. Aces finds another one.
Indeed, finds the elder frag right there, as it's going to be all up to Toda right there to get his buddy Smoke to try and hold this off, but so far every entry frag that happened went to the team that actually got the entry frag, and it's going to be a double kill, but eventually it's going to get cleared out by LeStream, and they keep word of that. Every single team that got an entry frag also managed to win the round afterwards. 6-1 is going to be the scoreline on the first map. And that is something that AVANGARs will have to look at and think, we have to change things up.
Yeah, you tip the balance and look at it, but AC's 13-1. That is an absolute brutal set of numbers there. And as you said, LeStream, they ain't messing around. They're coming into this hot, they're coming into this heavy, and they are ready and willing to put all of this extreme pressure onto a team. And they're kind of saying, yeah, you're the underdog story, but
we are LeStream.
We're LeStream.
Yeah.
Welcome to France. But anyway, second map, Villa, is where we're going to be heading next. And if you were to say one kind of pep talk sentence to AVANGARs, what do you think you would kind of tell them to focus on?
I would tell them it's a new map and try to regain the motivation, the mindset, the pace that you had against teams like Forte, Existence, etc., etc. Try to regain the mindset that you had.
That's exactly it. Obviously, as we said before, that map was one-sided. There's no two ways about it, unfortunately, but that doesn't completely write off AVANGARs, who are a team that have taken out big teams throughout this competition. They're in the finals. That takes so much work and so much doing and so much talent. They're here. They've made it to the finals. They're in this match. I would like to say this game is not over.
I would love to actually see a map 3 coming in. However, the chances are looking so small. Yeah. They will have to repack themselves just to find something that throws them off guard and hopefully pick up 1 or 2 rounds to start off with.
Well, that's it. As you said, as soon as the entry pick went one way, the round followed. The round went the rest of the way. Obviously, the diffuser only ever went down once across those 7 rounds, but in the previous game, it only went down twice per map. It
something
went
like
down
that.
Very little amount as well, but Villa is the first time we've seen this today. Obviously,
True.
We're getting fresh maps all day. What are your thoughts on Villa?
Very defense-sided.
That's very fair to say.
And still being innovated. So it could be that AVANGARs have something that the Pro League teams haven't actually considered yet and could work out. Now, that is something that we will have to wait and see as we are going into Villa right now. Let us see if AVANGARs can assemble themselves together and
we promise
fight off.
We will stop making these jokes. But for now, we are going straight back into it. But the ban phase, obviously, before it was very much default. Hibana is taken off, and on Villa are okay, but also it's something that we've seen LeStream bring every single round, and I think at this point they could also just be trying to throw them off a little bit. You don't have to worry too much about hatches. There's a couple of very important walls to break down when you're pushing very important points and positions, but it does obviously, if you look at games as a potential push or that kind of side of things, it threatens you a bit. But no, it's the double hard. The double hard is gone.
That is indeed good to see, but just looking back at last game, LeStream didn't really need their heart breachers.
Nope, they actually didn't even need the building, apparently. They just like to run out and find the fights out there. Valkyrie goes again. LeStream really don't like playing against Valkyrie. I think they've consistently banned her all day. So they're not messing around. And then Mirror gets taken off. Yeah, there's a couple of very solid Mirror points.
Well, let's just look at the fact how AVANGARs played against LeStream. They got picked up like, I believe 4 of the 5 entry frags were a trio Mirror window. So.
Exactly it. Again, I think, and I can't compliment this enough, AVANGARs are looking at what is strong and they're trying to answer it. They're trying to find flaws. And I think that's a very, very commendable thing to do. And it is the right thing to do, I would say. But here we are, talking of Games Room earlier. We are going to open with Aviator Games without a double hard. So obviously Maverick can do Maverick-y stuff, but it's a hard push. And, it's still a 6-pick phase, but I would kind of like to see a Maestro in this lineup.
Yeah, Maestro would definitely be a great addition right here, and the Twitch is going to be, as a result, swapped out to a Capitan. Now, the stream knows they don't have to deal with a Maestro, as the Echo is actually coming out for play. IQ will be perfectly countering that one off, so I'm not seeing any issues arising so far for LeStream. They will have to, AVANGARs will have to go aggressive. They will have to just take down the IQ just to start off with. If they want to have the Echo, just give them a fighting chance with that.
As soon as they start to lose a little bit of ground, they can find themselves in a bit of a tight spot. We've already talked about why, or we've already said this map is defender-sided, and if you're wondering why, it's because of the immense amount of breadth and width to it. There was even a debate about if you removed the basement, would people even notice? Because you've got to think of how much room you have to move. Yes, it can get channeled between those 3 staircases, but that's still 3 staircases in a very spread out period of the map. There's a lot of tight corners, tight walls, and tight places to hide in. It's one that these teams can have a lot of fun with. And we've already seen LeStream having too much fun on
definitely aces, just going in for those 360s right here. Now we might see some of those coming in now as well. But first, what just stands out to me is the actual rotation hole from the 90 corner, I believe it's called, to Vault.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're kind of setting themselves up. I'm curious about, actually, I know I mentioned it before, I'd like to see a Maestro. I'm curious how they play Echo, because obviously Echo was banned out in the previous one. Maybe they're an Echo-based team. Maybe everything relies around this Echo, and this is the real AVANGARs we're about to see. But we can see the man setting up and keeping his eyes across the 90 as well. It looks like LeStream are just trying to find all the electronics and trying to get everything cleared out before they start putting pressure. Both Capito bolts go down, or at least 2 of them. By the sounds of it, they're trying to push people out of Classical 90 and find themselves some ground inside. But there is the Legion just playing the tight corner. Johnny is waiting, though, watching the other way as Uno opens up the frags and takes care of Jaeger, who is yet again suffering the first death. But no! No! Unfortunate for the Legion, who crept along Classical, but the music had to come to an end.
I wanted to go through right there, try and go for potential refrag. Now that won't be the case, and that leaves it up to Flares to try and make sure that the Capita won't rappel in. As we hear in Maverick, just creating some art right there with that blow charge, starting the actual process and opening up that wall. It's going to be one more frag. It's going to be Hicks to take down I believe it was Pulse right there.
Yeah, Pulse was dropped. So Smoke and Echo, they are late round saviors, but you're against a 5-stack LeStream. They're flashing in. Jaeger's off the table. You've got to find your way around to a little bit more comfort and pressure. Does have bread door open behind him, so he's a little bit concerned. Maverick has stopped at least burning holes, but at this point, yeah, it looks like they're still putting pressure. Oh yeah, Maverick is down. Unfortunately, I've noticed that now. He must have suffered some of the work of Smoke, I would assume, but they haven't been able to close or confirm the kill. They smoke off that Classical side push, and they're trying to creep out the southeast side of Aviator to catch anyone, but Hicks is again waiting for it. The French teams are set up, and there is the great team cover, and it is now all down to a Smoke against the world.
Oh, you see what he's doing right there? He's just removing the actual entire reinforcement right there. Book is also opening up, and there we go. The opening comes in. It's going to be Buck to finish things off. And that is going to be one round for LeStream.
A flawless round.
A flawless round.
No less. And oh boy, they are not slowing down.
I like to see the actual fact that they opened up the complete top part of the reinforcement, then went for the bottom part, and the Buck shooting. I was like, that's reinforced. But then I realized, if you take at the bottom and the top part, the reinforcement in between will just fall out.
Well, that's it. It's a beautiful strategy. What you'll also sometimes see teams doing as well is they'll actually destroy the soft part for the Maverick, so the Maverick can see the exact lines of the hard reinforcement, so he can do that much more precise without having to waste fuel. Again, these guys, they play this game a lot.
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
Games and Aviator we go back to for the second round, and it looks like they're generally, so far, obviously we've got Sickpick bringing a similar kind of setup. Maverick is going to be a constant throughout this entire day. Don't imagine a round without him. He is going to be here with us the entire time.
Due to the fact that the other hard breachers are lacking, and you still want to have some tool to at least, well, look through these reinforced walls, get a little bit of an angle down. If you can do it with the exothermic charge or the X-Kairos, then, well, the blowtorch is a perfect solution.
Again, you know what I would love to see?
What do you love to see?
I would love to see a Maestro. I would love to see a little bit more sight, a little bit more control, a little bit more confidence. Obviously, they gave up 90 in Classical so fast. As soon as a bit of pressure came in, there was nothing to, and he was perfectly led like a lamb to a slaughter at the bottom of those stairs. And, you know, it was a sad sight to see, but just having a bit more information. Obviously, you've got the Echo, great, brilliant to have. You can get your eyes, you can get your ideas, but they're also bringing an IQ. So you can expect if you do put those off site, if you do put those a little bit further away, they get picked off. But well, Toda is not playing around anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye, Alfama. And Uno has a little bit to think about there.
And that's going to be the Maestro gone as well. Went too aggressive right there. Perfectly read by the AVANGARs to, you know, get that spawn pick in there. Worked out. pretty well.
Well, we can see now they're already creeping up, and there's another one in their favor. Toda again finds Uno, and a third! Toda is lighting up. This is a man that has been pushed too gosh darn far, and he is finding these fights. Doc, you are going all out.
Yeah, triple kill so far. He needs to find 2 more if he wants to get that ace against LeStream. Now, of course, there's still 4 teammates left, and he is fighting against ACs, and Hicks is going to be the first frag into the favor of Hicks, taking down Johnny. That's the roamer from below with the Legion, so they will no longer have to worry about new goo mines being, well, generated and deployed.
Well, there is the detected outside. Hicks tries to creep up, but is instantly hit by the Legion. You could see the great response as well as they noticed that and went to feed themselves into the firefight, but great movement from Hicks to pull back. And if I'm honest, that is kind of uncharacteristic of how LeStream have been playing this day so far.
Oh, there we could potentially see a headshot. Now that won't land. We're going to see ACs rotate around, try a different angle. As Hicks is still waiting for it, spotting out some electronics right there with his P12. Taking those down as well. Toda laying prone on the staircase is going to find a little battle soon as Hicks is getting closer and closer. The question is, will he spot him out? Indeed he will. Instantly taken down, and that means LeStream are now fighting a 2-on-3 situation with 1 minute left. There's plenty of time for the French mixed team to keep this up. And well, as they're opening up these angles right here, AVANGAR's shooting out where they are coming from.
Well, that was it. It was a beautiful, beautiful run from the Duck, but he does have to stop office hours at some point, and now you can see LeStream, they're bringing their tighter game in. They're trying to find that ground and trying to find those firefights, because for the first time today, I would say, they're suffering pressure, and the pressure has not dropped. The team captain of Karma finds one more, and it is all down to Hicks, and no! 1-1 we find ourselves in. 2 rounds into Villa, and I am very happy about that.
Indeed. So Toda right here, open things up, get that first frag, and getting another one on the balcony, actually 2 on the balcony, and allowed his team to fight that 5-on-2 situation, which they were eventually able to win.
There was Hicks finding the one underneath as well, but I'm excited to see exactly how this obviously progresses, because, you know, all the compliments to AVANGAR, that was fantastic. The aggression was there. They went for those firefights. As you said before, went for the spawn peaks. Take a single cog out of the machine and it will often start to fall apart. But LeStream are a big team. They know how to answer to this kind of stuff. If they go for a spawn peak again, Toda, I do not think it is going to be quite as effective.
Definitely not, because they're going to be waiting for it now. They're going to be pre-firing those as well. And with that, they could just as well just pick up the entry frag at the very second of the action phase. Right now, we are going to trophy and statuary. Now, let us see if AVANGAR will put high pressure on, for example, astronomy, or if they will decide to take their journey somewhere else.
Well, it's normally what you see is you see a player playing Astro. They're playing it quite heavy. They're holding it for as long as they can with tooth and nail and barbed wire. But, you know, it's one of those things where AVANGAR's, obviously, as we said, they need to kind of shake things up a bit, keep things changing, keep LeStream guessing, and make them uncomfortable with their comfort, because that is exactly where they're going to start pulling these rounds apart. And you saw, as we said, they did not expect that. I didn't expect them to start going for double spawn peaks and then running out to get a third. And yet here we are. And I really hope Toda doesn't do it, but watch me now cast his curses, and he does it and gets another triple. Like,
oh, will he get instantly taken down? It's going to be either of those two. Now, LeStream doesn't seem to be coming from that side, of course, is hoping that he can deny the south side of the building, making sure that they won't enter from there. But this balcony and the master bedroom are actually going to get challenged by the sides of LeStream anytime soon now. They're just playing the information game, droning in, trying to find out where these players are located. Instantly, Toda picks up Hicks right there. As Hicks was aware of his position, but wasn't going to be able to pick up that frag.
That was beautiful shooting, and AC's drops as well, and there is another one. And this is great combination, and another one! Flarezo finds his first this map. AVANGAR suffer with Uno actually finding a reverse kill, and that is Ash taking Jaeger yet again, falling first for AVANGAR, unfortunately. But this is exceptional. AVANGAR are finding ground. They're finding confidence on a map where, you know, if I was to guess how this would have gone, I would have said LeStream's favor, but they're refusing to lie down. Maverick and Ash now struggling, but Oh, they brought themselves back to a 2-2 with some very smart play, but you've still got this Doc that has been such a thorn so far, as well as the mute as well, and there is a minute 40. So if anything, as we said before, is in the hands of the attackers, it is that huge, huge, huge amount of time. And at this point, they do have the diffuser, but you know, this is the firefights they're going to be looking for.
Yeah, definitely so. But the fact is, the AVANGARs don't have the manpower to cover every single angle off. And well, LeStream will most likely know that, try to isolate one, take him down, and with that end the round, potentially. Of course, if Toda is still alive, he has the opportunity to just play another crazy role again, just do another crazy thing, get that double kill to end off the round. But that won't happen as of yet. Far comes up from Uno, hoping that he would find someone on the other side of that wall. Now, that won't be the case, as Alfama now hopes to move in, is actually going to get shot by Toda. Now, he knows exactly where he's going to be located at, tries to rotate out, and they're going to be calling, let's go for the other side. Shotgun will be coming in, gets one kill, gets through! It's going to be the smoke or mute. I believe it was the mute to pick up the double to end the round. And that means that they will be taking the lead for the first time in the fight.
Where has this aggression been hiding? This is exactly the right response. They are pushing against them. They're holding when they need to and pulling back. This is a team that has all the confidence that we haven't seen at all so far in these other rounds. The balance, the complete coordination between those frags there, the confidence again to push against them, get the second with the shotgun as well with a bit of range. That is exceptional.
Indeed, very exceptional. Right now, LeStream is going to be bringing their Monty. As they have 6 picked it in, we are going to Library Living Room. And that is a bomb site that we haven't seen as of yet.
Well, Monty is the big change, actually, and I'm kind of, you know, it's in a good way. It's nice to say LeStream are changing things. All the credit that I've given to AVANGAR so far is LeStream. They're a great, great team, and they, too, know how to respond to things.
Indeed, and they know it's going to be Library Living as well, most likely, and thus, well, swapping things up, deciding that, well, if we're going to the first floor, then, and especially on this bomb site, Monty is going to be a viable pick. And that is the reason why they most likely will be picking up on that Monty. Same thing again, though. Doc is
yeah, and the Doc is tearing a door down. And yeah. I know what I said. I said maybe he shouldn't keep this aggression up. And then he goes and gets more kills and is, you know, the fire beneath the pit of the team at the moment in time. He is really dragging the team by the scruff of the neck and going, no, this is far from over. We're hitting map 3. This is our chance to get to a minor. This is our chance to make our mark in Siege. And here it comes. And Johnny actually is the one to find the opening frag against a very, very fast-moving Buck. Drops him, and there's another one for Toda, who runs out and gets another kill from the side. Doesn't even run out, just picks him apart as he's forced to rotate because of the pressure put on by his team. It's slightly balanced off as Toda does get taken out the equation, but you've got to think of the damage that's already done, because now there's so much pressure on them. They're concerned that we have no idea where AVANGAR are going to shoot us from next.
Yeah, definitely. But luckily for LeStream, it's going to be the Ash out of play, which means that the utility is actually still there. Now, the Buck is quite unlucky, as you will be missing 2 grenades out of that. But they still have the Logi Bombs. They still have the Maestro Blowtorch to create these holes in the hard walls, like in the reinforced walls, to, you know, get in these. Ooh, that's unlucky timing right there from ACs. Could have picked up a frag right there. Now, that won't be happening. Hicks, in the meantime, deploying a drone just to check out if top 4 is going to be clear, because else he won't be moving in.
Well, you can see that LeStream are now playing this a bit more seriously, because they've not bought the comedy Monty skin from the April Fool's event, the beautiful Papillons. But you can see Flairzo, who did get a beautiful movements in the previous round, is waiting with that C4, wants them to put a bit of pressure on. Alfama is just a bit concerned about leading, and that's fair because you do have a Monty. Let the man Mountain take front stage, and Maestro is getting zaps, but slick shooting there to take care of the Jaeger, who at least didn't die first this time.
Yeah, they pre-prepped the C4 right there onto that window, onto the door, I believe. And that will mean that Monty won't be moving in. It's going to be Alfama to pick up yet another frag, this time on Johnny. Flash still standing by with that C4, hoping that the Monty will be moving in so he can just deploy it. Actually gets it down right there onto ACs. The Dokkaebi is going to get removed, or possibly, as he right now will have to find a way to secure that. Picks up the C4 and now has the opportunity to reposition that, potentially take down the Monty. He's going to be trying to do so as well. We'll be tossing it over right there, but it's too far. And the Monty's already in. We'll be swapping over, actually taking quite a lot of damage right there.
Smart play there from the Monty to push further into the room. Gets the first one, but there is the cover from this long called for Maestro, who's firing over the top with 2 players currently down. Well, Duckerby has got picked back up, but on a very low amount of health. You've got to be concerned about pushing. You know they had a Legion. They do manage to get the pickup, but the diffuser is planted as well. We're in a post-plant situation here. Alfama pulls out. They're still getting caught by ADSs as they try to throw smokes down there, but Maestro has those cams up. They have sights. Maverick is going for the rotation around Red Hallway, but he is not the only one. There is a man coming in behind him, and this could be a very decisive take if he doesn't notice it. Flarezo creeping and creeping and creeping. Here's the movement, and ooh, gets the frag against Maverick. Maverick's taken out of the equation now. It is all down to KB just to listen, just to play this with all the game sense, but no! Maestro shuts it down, and we go 3-1 to AVANGAR's.
Oh, very well retaken right there by AVANGAR's. They knew they had to go for the pickup, go for the flank around as well. As Alfama had the Maverick already to deny anybody who was going to go on that defuse. That didn't happen. It's going to be 3-1. And here you see how defense-sided this map can be, especially if you have Toda just spawn peeking every single round.
Yeah. Obviously, you can hear the excitement I'm getting with this kind of battle. I really want a third map. I really want this to just never end. Yeah. The studio is too cool for that. But this is a defender-sided map. This is one where you're expected to win your defenses, so every take on attack is the major thing. That's the major step. So yeah, it's great what they're doing, but you've also got to realize if you're talking about stacked decks and stacked cards, they're against LeStream. They're against a huge team. They're bringing a game against a team that nobody would have predicted.
Yeah. So. We also saw last match when they were up against the likes of Vodafone Giants. As soon as they reached 4 rounds, they just accelerated. They stepped up their game and finished it off right there. And that is something that LeStream still has, well, in their hands. The actual acceleration to getting close, to actually do something, make something happen. And don't forget, the double heart breach ban also counts for AVANGAR's, and they will still have to potentially play 5 rounds on the offense. So
that's it. And I think one of the other things to note as well is obviously what is playing very well to them is their aggression, their continued kind of relentlessness against a team that has so far done the same thing.
Did he just put it up there on the actual...
They did.
So if only one bullet hits that pane, it's going to be destroyed.
But okay, they can't be great at everything. But
this... Watch the VODs.
Yeah, this is a team that LeStream, they know aggression, but also they're then going to have the benefit of having that, but being on defense. And I'm curious how much of this swell, how much of this momentum, and how much of this kind of nail-biting aggression will continue on through their attacks, because Toda is doing unpredictable things for sure. He's moving around in places. He's, you know, docking it up as the full dock that we all love and see in ranked all the time. But when you're rolling that as an attacker where you're expected to be doing this thing, it might not work as well.
Yeah, probably won't work at all, as they'll expect you to come in at that point and not just wait in some window to get that frag. So we could potentially see a complete turnaround in the next half. And go it all the way to LeStream, but it's going to be once again the enter frag for AVANGAR's as Uno goes in for a quick refrag, but it's still going to be 1 lost on the side of LeStream. It's going to be the IQ. So Echo somehow just got way more valuable right now.
Yeah, dropping the IQ. I mean, I was a bit curious about the push there, obviously, because, you know, we knew Ash was coming up behind, and Ash very quickly cemented the kill. And by the looks of it, all of the eyes were forward for that Legion, who was staring, very much blinkered. So if they had waited half a second to do the run-in, or maybe just shot a couple of bullets to mask the sound of Ash creeping up, that could have been a very different situation for LeStream. But you know, sometimes those kind of accidents happen. AVANGAR's, they're generally, again, still setting themselves up. And to be fair, I think this was the longest we ever went into a round without someone being dead.
Oh yeah, definitely. We are now 1 minute 30 in, and we're about to see the first kill coming down. As you know, is going to get tagged quite a lot. The C4 comes in. Kama is actually going to get the down, but, well, full fall down the hatch before he can actually finish it off. We're going to see another kill coming in right there of Flare taking down the Maestro of Alfama. But still we have Uno down and now right now killed as well. It's just going to be up to the Twitch. It's a 1-on-4 situation. It seems like AVANGAR's can just as well bring this up to a 4-on-1 in scoreline. And potentially go for map number 3 as we see Aces now moving in. The powerhouse of LeStream getting the first frag to start things off with. He only needs to find 3 more, but he's going to be finished off by Kama. And that means that they will be winning 4 consecutive rounds in a row. and it's going to be 1-4.
4 consecutive. We swap over. There is the trade that we saw before, and the AC's kind of just tearing through. And I think what we are seeing normally is when LeStream finds the firefight, they win it. Generally speaking. But as we said before, what AVANGARs were doing so exceptionally was they were picking these firefights where they weren't expected to be them. Not just where any players are not expected to be them, but they threw out everything that they were doing at border. They threw all of that to the wind and said, this is our plan B.
Just go aggressive.
Just go aggressive. And plan B worked. But now you've got to do it on the attack on Villa, where there's no hard destruction, against LeStream, who you have kind of bought the ire of because you're peeking them. You're spawn peeking them. That's what they do to other people. You're doing it to them. You got to keep this up.
Like, it's something. Whenever you start spawn picking, it's definitely going to come back to you. It's all going to be peeking you back.
You pick Lion Blitzfinker next time.
It's going to be coming back to you at some point. So, AVANGARs have to be careful about not actually going to get spawn picked straight up, because just look at the setup. We have a Maestro and an Echo. It's 2 ACOGs. 2 great operators as well. So it's not just a dog that can heal himself back up. If they get a frag and they stay alive, their utility will become worth more with every second that passes.
Yep. And in the previous map as well, not the previous map, in the previous game on Clubhouse, when we did see Alibi being brought by ACs, he was playing it very aggressively. He was putting himself in situations far. He was using it as kind of, I would say, self-centered information grabbing, where he then responds to it very quickly, but brutally and efficiently as well. And that's what I expect to see more and more of. You can see that he is very much a player that is comfortable and just exceptional at murder.
He's also one of those few players that are so comfortable playing alone right there, as Johnny is going to be shooting into the Prisma, which was, well, so... It was so obvious that was a Prisma right there, but he's going to be, once again, taking that as he jumps through. And that means that, well, the information is going to be there. That at least a Sophia will be pushing them.
Yeah, and obviously now that's, you know where that's going to come from. Alfama is playing the Clash, trying to creep up towards Master Bedroom, but also a bit concerned about anyone looping in from underneath. Uno already in a firefight, and there's 1-for-1 there as Hicks finds 1, but AC gets dropped by Johnny. Johnny now has a bit more pressure, but there is Gamma. Ooh, getting the finish there on the Alibi, and they've put themselves with this fire in a very, very nice position. Jaeger and Alibi taken off. They still have to compete with 3 terrifying operators to go up on the defense, but this is what we see them do very well. Smoke pushes. They get the utility down. They kind of move in and amongst it, and yeah, this is for them to be responded to.
However, every single member that dies on the stream, the less effective Clash gets. Yep. Clash is a team operator. You need someone to be there to actually work on the information you're gathering at real time. And as soon as 2 members die, you're going to be less effective at that point. So they need to keep at least 1 person alive if they want to have that Clash to have any impact. And the AVANGARs are just looking to get more right now. They know one is going to be in the vault. They, I believe, hear the player right there as well. The Maestro camera is most likely just going to be taking down the air jab right there, and leave that happen. Right now, going to try and cross onto each other, as the vault is going to get opened up soon, I believe, by the Maverick. Just going to go into the next stage of the round. It's going to be Toda to pick up Hicks, and that turns it into a 4-2 situation. And another frag coming down, and that's just AVANGARs just straight up picking up the next round. Onto map point right now. We are 5-on-1, and their new take, their new mindset, another mindset, as some might say, referring back to the Siege documentary, seems to be working.
If you would have told me, if you would have told me at the end of the last map there was a 6-1 for those who somehow missed it to LeStream, that this is what we would be sitting on right now, match point for AVANGARs on Villa, which was not their map pick. And it's 5-1 match point, and they're looking better and better every single round. I would have called you crazy. I would have called you a liar. But here...
I would have called myself crazy.
Here we are, trophy and statuary, and you do kind of wonder where LeStream have gone. Because so far, we're missing the fire. We're missing that beautiful, frantic energy that powered them through border, and they just seem a little bit defeated. Almost, you kind of miss it. You miss that.
Just looking at it as well, we right now have 13 rounds where whichever team got the entry frag also won the round out of 13 rounds we have played. So just to showcase how important the entry frag is in this match. It's basically securing you the round. I was almost afraid it wouldn't happen last round because they got one and LeStream got two, but somehow they turned it around. AVANGAR's just doing hero's work right here.
Stats never lie. That's what you got to learn from maths when you went to school. Stats never lie, and well, so does this game. But AVANGAR's are setting, they're setting themselves up to take this into the third map, which is Clubhouse, which is obviously the map that we have already seen run through once today by LeStream. And again, they were very comfortable, very confident on it, but it is a more older, traditional beaten map. And if you would have asked me 30 minutes ago whether that would play more into the favor of the newer team or the less experienced team, I would have said yes. But then here we are in Villa, which is this fresh map. They're bringing fresh ideas, even fresh compared to how we saw them in the previous map, and it's working so well for them.
This is what I said beforehand, though. Like, the map is so new, it's still being innovated. The opportunity is there. The AVANGARs have things that LeStream hasn't seen before, and they can potentially win it off the back of that. And so far, that is going to be the case. AVANGARs are highly effective on their defenses, and now the one offensive round they have played, they have got that one in the bag as well, and now are looking to finish things off and give LeStream a thing of their own recipe. I don't know how to say it.
Well, here is Higgs holding down Astro. They know that the pressure is going to come from this direction. It was exactly the same push last time from AVANGARs, but with a little bit more speed as they found themselves into Kitchen without suffering so far. But obviously, you look at the slight changes LeStream has made in their defense. Clash is gone, replaced by a Mute. They're bringing it back a little bit. Alibi is no longer playing so deep as well. They're wanting the firefights to fall to them and holding angles, which is something that the French always do exceptionally. There is Zafir taunting the Maestro with the utility gun. Oh, doesn't quite get the follow-up though.
Had the stuns coming down right there, but wasn't going to be able to take down the Maestro. However, did quite a lot of damage, but it's going to be the second frag to come in for LeStream right there, as they are looking to bring this to a 5-on-2 and take it from there. One more frag comes into the sides of AVANGARs, then we see Aces, or I believe it was actually Rice to pick up that frag before being retraded. We are in a 2-on-2 situation right now. Could go either way, but Flares knows the position of one player. Will be picking that one up, but has to watch out because he's going to get shot in the back right there by Aces. And right now it's a one-on-one situation. The last time we saw it fell into the hands of Aces. And it's now going to be up to Kama, the team captain, to make this happen and carry his team to victory and to the third map. It's going to get caught off guard, and it's going to be AVANGARs to move to map number 3 as they take down LeStream.
Well. We find ourselves heading to a third map, and this is everything that we wanted to see in the final. If you compare both teams to how they played in the first map, completely different.
It's like
entities.
they swapped names.
It is unbelievable. How do we know that that's not what's happened? No, that would never fall. But you look at the spread there as well, just of the frags, and compared to how it was before, obviously Kama, who I would definitely kind of pin as my pin for that. He was the one that took everything that was going wrong. He grabbed the team by the scruffs and said, it's not over.
Indeed, and as well with Toda just doing whatever he needed to do. Actually, the start of the turnaround with that triple kill, just doing whatever they needed to get it happening.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But third map, we've already seen 4 different teams over the first 2. And it's Clubhouse. It is Clubhouse. It is one we've already seen LeStream play on today. They played Vodafone Giants, and they played it pretty well.
Yeah, 6-2 win came out right there. Now, Giants is a well-established team. They know each other somewhat, at least, because Giants have they have played CL players, got streamed quite a lot. The stream plays probably, they get streamed basically every single time. So they had some research hands on top of that. But the AVANGARs, as we said, new team, they have the underdog position. There's no footage of them.
No.
So they have the full advantage right here. They know how to play into the stream, and that might be coming into their advantage as we are going to Clubhouse.
I will say there's going to be footage of them now. There's going to be quite a few highlight reels, I think, going up on Twitter. And as I said, cannot compliment everything enough with what they are doing. But we've got to always look at this as if they are 2 teams in a final, as they are, regardless of the history of them. And now we've got to look at LeStream, because as I said, it seemed as the round started to die off, they did as well. They really fell back into themselves. They kind of didn't have that spark that we're so used to seeing from them.
Oh, yeah. Not sure what happened there. probably they felt they were indeed stronger on Villa, and thus did not want to go full try hard, so to say, give away strategies, and with that make the finals. They probably banking on the fact that Clubhouse will be their map. They can actually get it, and thus had a little bit of a relaxed moment. Let them get in a good flow to just crush them straight after. That could be a mental game being played right here by LeStream, but will it be the actual game that they're playing? We're not sure, because AVANGAR is now going to be banning the first operator, and it's going to be Hibana.
Well, last time we were on here, they banned out Maverick and they banned out Valk, and Valk has been a consistent ban for them throughout the day. I'd be surprised if that changes now. I don't think they need to respond to anything too much. They could just spite ban out Doc. That'd be pretty funny to see, but at the same time, a lot of people have ACOGs. Just bring Rook. He's
indeed
Doc with shirts.
Or an Echo.
Or a Maestro. Or a long line of operators that are terrifying. But we will see. Obviously, they're taking a little bit of time with it. Nomad is the one that they're going to take out.
Okay, actually had some impact, of course, so I understand the ban. Because they were, well, being limited in their rotating powers, of course. So that might be something that they are, you know, in need of to actually win off the next map, especially Clubhouse. If you look at it, when you're stuck downstairs, there's no other way to get back up if everything is going to be Nomad at all. So
I mean, we saw obviously a little bit of the usage.
Yeah.
The first time round, I'm gonna say the first map we saw on Border, it was a very suffered team. They really didn't find their ground. But then the 2 rounds that we just saw them take on attack in that 5-6 round run, you know, that was a completely different team. So I'm kind of excited to see if they do flip over to the attack, whether they get, you know, well, a bit more ground, how this is going to translate to them now, because it's a hard thing now. It's a fresh map, fresh mindsets. How are you going to take them by surprise now?
Well, AVANGAR is going to start on the defense again. Something that worked wondrous for them on the last map. So I think they're trying to bank off that, get some rounds in again.
Well, if there was anything to bring into the fact that we're on the 3rd map here, it is that a lot of this becomes quite stressful. Obviously, these guys have been playing all day. They were playing all yesterday, and it doesn't matter how much you love Siege. Playing at this level, playing with this much focus and for this amount of time does wear you down. It tears you. But at the same time, it's often cited that teams that have this kind of history in the game and this experience rely on that because they're used to this kind of play. They're used to these long days, and they can kind of find themselves. But at the same time, AVANGAR's a more up-and-coming team. They could have a heap of amount of energy. I know I would be bouncing off
you
the
can look at
walls.
this at 2 ways. Like, LeStream is a Pro League team. They're, like, when they play Pro League, you play 1 match a day, so you don't have the long grinds. Now, they don't need to play Go for example, so they most likely won't do that either. And you don't have to play long qualifiers for things like DreamHack. So, even though they're the more experienced team, they will most likely not play these long days that some Go for teams make. Now, AVANGAR might be one of these Go for teams that just every single week play from 4 to 1 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And with that fatigue that LeStream could potentially have from playing through the entire bracket could be coming into their advantage right now. But on the other side, LeStream is more experienced and they know how to deal with pressure more. And that could potentially be the actual choking point for AVANGARs.
Well, you can see AVANGARs again. They've brought up Visual for the first time today, I believe, and they're looking at the aggression inside Garage, and that's a fair thing to kind of keep the pressure on. Obviously, they've taken Church as the first point, and original Clubhouse before it got this facelift was often cited as a map, and it still is, where you don't really hugely need to play a roam. Oh my!
So smart from Toda.
Yeah, that was beautiful, beautiful movement there from Toda. Just crept up underneath him, did a twirl, and got the frag. And now he's just going to pull back and loop back round and set himself up for another as Uno starts to push in across Jim, but they're not slowing down.
No, definitely not. Beautifully played right there from Toda. He knew that most likely was going to be upside down, wants to go for a second frag as well, but will be wasting almost his entire magazine right there. And Aces is just shoulder peeking it, hoping that he will find him off guard on a reload. We'll be going for a pre-fire right there. Just look at Aces right here. Just a mechanical skill that he has, not being tagged up, will eventually get the refrag onto Toda and turn things back equal.
Well, you can see Rise is obviously setting themselves up, and this is something that LeStream are going to do very, very well, is they're always going to have each other's shoulders. They're very good at setting themselves up, and it's often cited, if you ever look at the wonderful stats that we get through places like CGG, is the cost rating.
Yeah.
The kill, objective, survive, and traded can become such an important thing, where if you're not setting up your tactics, if you're not speaking well as a team and gelling well as a team and able to pick up those trades and movement, because we saw obviously Aces was going for the firefight. He was battling it. There's already been clips fired from both of them, but then the man on the shoulder just came in and the attention was off and bam, easy pick. And that's exactly what you love to see.
Indeed, as Rush now is hoping that he can come in with a potential flank soon. Now knows that he has been spotted out, so we'll have to move. He's unaware of it, like he doesn't know where to go. So he's just gonna hold off onto the straight hallway right here, hoping that someone will be walking into his crosshairs. But LeStream, no, as long as you're there and we know you're there, we don't have to worry about you because you will have to come to us at some point.
Yeah, you can see holding strip and just waiting and waiting. Kama is holding the moto hatch as well, because obviously you've got to remember, for all the battling that's going on upstairs, as Uno starts to push utility in blue, is the point is downstairs. They've wasted a huge amount of time. We're on the final 20 seconds, and for one of the first times today, we're really seeing LeStream suffer so much on time, because even when they've lost the original operators, normally they have a minute and a half left, but they managed to find one as they push deeper and deeper into the point up to third box. The double kill for the shotgun shuts it down from Flezo as Kama finds another one and another one as AVANGAR take the first round.
Oh my. And once again, they have the opening frag right there.
So at the very beginning of that round, I said, sometimes, I'm going to emphasize that, sometimes you don't need to roam on this map because it's so good. But if you do, that is how you do it. Because he managed to get a frag, brilliant, move done underneath. But the amount of time that was taken up by not only then getting the kill on him, but then checking the rest of the map to know that you are secure and know you are safe. And you saw LeStream just didn't balance that well because they only had 20 seconds.
There was not enough time to check everything right there. They only had time to try and go for the kills at that moment, and that didn't go well. It was all in the hands of AVANGARs right there, who are taking up the first round right now. 5 more rounds, and they are in the minor.
Imagine the Cinderella story we see before us playing out, but we get the joy of watching them first.
Oh yeah.
Here is the hold. Now, if you were to say that there is a point that is often picked up there as sometimes a first, sometimes a second, this is the one, and I'm curious to see how their hold translates on this, because we can say how well trodden this map is and how beaten in the boards are because it's been around so long. It did have a facelift at one point.
Indeed, like the construction part added in between is definitely going to be one of the major improvements on Clubhouse, which now makes 3 bomb sites viable for the defensive side. Because first you wouldn't even think of going to cache CCTV. Nope. You would go bar. Now, how often do we see bar after the facelift?
We see bar when teams are 5 rounds up. That's the only time we see bar, or 4 rounds up in this case. You know, it's not a favored point for really anybody, but now we'll see this, and then they'll normally rotate towards Jim as the 3rd point. But often this is either the first or the second. But Toda went for what looked like a run out, and this is something we did say last map, is the more and more you do this, the less and less effective it is, as he cartwheels himself back in towards the building. Unfortunately, no dice.
It's going to be the first entry frag of the match for the sides of LeStream. Now let's see if that will grant them a round, or if they have some trouble right here with the likes of Johnny. Johnny is just falling back right now into the oil pit, giving away the garage control for free. It's just going to be rush up right here. Here's the window being opened up. It's probably going to be going aggressive anytime soon. Here's the drone as well. Just look at him. Normal people would just run away. Rush is deciding to just go prone under the window.
I love the confidence that AVANGARs are saying, and it's always the worries when you go up against a big team that you kind of fall into yourself and you shut down, and they're not doing
he got droned out. He didn't know. He didn't know he'd get droned. Has to go aggressive right now. Actually picks up the frag. It's going to be Rush. Realizing he got droned, realizing he had to go aggressive right there, and doing so perfectly, taking down the Heart Breacher on the side of LeStream. And I'm not sure if they opened up the balcony already, because if that's not the case, they might be in big trouble.
Still hasn't pulled away too far either. Uno finds him from coming up from underneath, but at the same time, a minute 20 left. The hard is off. There's another trade. Aces finds one, but gets found himself by Flezo. They do have the wall open, but...
Oh!
Flezo!
Removed!
amazing, amazing, amazing plays there. And here we see a LeStream that is under so much pressure. They still have Maverick, they still have Thatcher, they have a team that can work together, but wow.
They're going to get picked apart right here, but it's going to be Hicks to trade things back up. It's going to be Johnny to fall, but he is low on HP. It's going to be up to Aces mainly to try and make this happen, because one tick of that canister will be denying the life of the Thatcher. And this will be a clutch moment for Flash. The clutch of his life, possibly, as he will deal just a little bit of damage right there into Aces. Will know that he has to deploy his canisters anytime. So with 40 seconds left, he's just trying to hold the cross right there, hoping that he can take down the diffuser as they move in. First canister comes out right there, will be deployed. Means that he won't have to worry any longer on that angle for 15 seconds. Second one comes out as well, trying to deny Aces. Actually, will be taking him up just a small bit, softening him up for a potential 1-on-2 clutch for the second round in this map. And even though we're 2 rounds in, the pressure is intense.
Yeah, obviously you can see that Flarezo is hanging on, but we're on 10 seconds. The final RGG goes off, but it doesn't quite catch the diffuser planter. The amount of utility thrown just to throw him out of there, the diffuser goes down, and that is a tough spot to be in, because that 10 seconds was arguably the difference. And now you've got a very hard retake, but they're still pushing aggressive with 0 health. They are really trying to find the fight against Flarezo, who is otherwise just steadily digging through with the shotgun. Pre-firing angles, kind of making the right moves, but the longer you go without getting at least one of them, the harder and harder this is going to be. Did make a gamble, but no. LeStream against... And I'm kind of a bit surprised I'm saying the sentence. Here is the moment where everything kind of changed, I would say. They go against the odds, and they pull that round back. And I would never have thought I would say that today.
Definitely not. And like the frag on Johnny, if that went the other way, that round would have been into the hands of AVANGAR, because they would have the actual diffuser dropped with like 30 seconds left on the clock with a 1-on-2 situation. So very unlucky right there that he wasn't going to be able to pick up that frag onto Hicks. Well played from Hicks and Aces eventually, though, getting that plan down, playing the after plan right there, knowing that he has to come for you guys. Seas to V Cash is once again going to be the site that we are going to be going to. And let's see if they can change things up, or if they, well, not really change things up. It went perfectly fine. It's just a gunfight that they lost, which costed them the round eventually. Yeah, when it comes down to if that smoke had been in the other plant spot, the round would have been his.
Yes, indeed.
He took a gamble. It was a 50-50, and you're thinking, hey, what do you mean it was a 50-50? You can plant anywhere on the floor. No, there's 2 plant points on that. They went with the other one. They flipped the coin, and unfortunately for the smoke, he guessed wrong. But one more canister in the right place, having another in pocket, that would have been their round. Like, he knew that there was one guy behind the server stack. He wasn't sure about the other one. So it was a logical decision to go for this actual canister behind the server stack, because you know someone is there. You don't know where the other player was at that point. All you know, he could have been downed or something. Now, unluckily for AVANGAR, they lost that round, but it's not over yet. They just got ready for the next one, as we are 1-1 up. Once again, in Seas to V Cash. Let's see if they can change it up now and get the win in.
Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, the bearer of omens. But in the previous round, on the previous map in Villa, LeStream won the first round, and then AVANGAR's got the next 6.
Yeah.
And we saw AVANGAR's get the first round here very confidently, the same way LeStream got the first round very confident in Villa. And here's the second one swap, and I'm kind of hoping, you know, we might see the same thing. We might see another worry.
Indeed, and it's going to be the entry frag once again. It's going to be Hicks to take down the aggressive Echo right there, and that is quite unlucky, because that means that those yokai drones will be, well, basically just spotting points right now for the sides of AVANGAR.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about some operators that are okay to lose in these positions and lose first. I know there's always an argument normally around a roaming smoke and what he can kind of do for a team as a battle happens on Garage Stories, but losing your Echo to an entry when you're playing that aggressive is such a worry, because he can define the final 30 seconds of a round.
Yeah, Uno now picking up the frag right there onto Rush as well, brings it back to a 3-on-5 situation, and while the buddies are counting down right now as LeStream is telling AVANGAR, now, well, we want to go to the minor too. We want to go to Vegas, playing a nice pyramid. I mean, great respect for that one map you pulled off, but we don't want to let it go any further.
It is a very nice pyramid. If you guys haven't seen the giant pyramid that this miner is playing at, like, we've already said that this set right now is amazing, but it's a giant pyramid. I can only imagine how crazy it's going to be. But here we go. Let's focus on this for now as we see Zofia suffering a huge amount of damage. Obviously, they have Jaeger off the board. That's a familiar sight at this point for AVANGAR's defense. They find another one and bring it to a 5-2. And this is them lighting up, as you said. This is them refusing to go, wait a second, we're LeStream.
Yeah. Indeed, and as that 2-on-5 situation will unfold, it's going to be Toda together with Johnny, hoping that they can break it back, but they have no stall. Of course, the Legion is still there, but most of his goo mines will already be deployed. Right now, the wall will be opening up right there behind Server Stack as well, which means that most likely the plant will follow in seconds. As soon as they know where these players are located, the plant comes in, and there it comes. Plant is going to be down in 4 seconds. It's going to be Alpha Man. There's nothing to actually counter that. It's going to be Aces to pick up yet another frag. And Uno to finish things off. It's round number 3 onto LeStream's side. And they retake the lead after they have lost it in Villa.
Well, this is a LeStream that is more familiar, I would say.
Yeah.
It's the thing about momentum and about emotions in Siege is it can be such a big thing for a lot of teams. There are some teams that can take losses and take them on the chin and move past them. There are some that need to kind of have all hope hammered out of them before they go, okay, we're at rock bottom. It can only be up from here. And then they'll bring out some amazing rounds, which I would argue happened to AVANGAR's before. They'd lost a map. They'd just been flawless around and they went, let's just bring Doc. Let's bring Doc and fight this. And it worked brilliantly, and I think LeStream have kind of suffered the same dance at this point, where now they've gone, yeah, why are we losing this? Let's
just accelerate right here, step up our game.
Do they know who I am? This is exactly what we're seeing, and you know, they're working as a unit, they're working as a team, they're bringing out these trades and balances. They obviously lost the first round, but they've just picked up 2 in a row. The second much more comfortable than the first. We are going to be obviously changing back to the other point, but you know, it's great kind of responses from a team that has books and books and books of these responses.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, they want to show as little of those books as possible, considering they are the Pro League Season 9 Milan finalists, and hoping, you know, that they will win that one as well. So with that in mind, they're going to be trying to do as little but as much as possible to take this one home and also go to Vegas afterwards.
Watch them do everything but nothing at the same time and try and win. That is Rainbow Six Siege and the many, many fine balances that we see. Now, Kama, a player, obviously the team captain, has really kind of been showing up so far. Obviously, no way to overwrite the rest of the players, especially Toda, who has been such a force for them. But really, really kudos for them there. As we can see him playing the Maestro, I'm happy to see it bought. Obviously, it didn't really make too much of a showing around Villa. But hey, prove me wrong. They just won the map out anyway.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely. Oh, well. Time will be ticking down. It's going to be LeStream to get some information going on, get some map control as they are progressing. With 1 minute already gone off the clock, you right now see that they are actually clearing out the rest of the building. They know no roamers are here. No roamers exist right now. I believe in EMP Grenade just got eaten by a ADS right there. That's unlucky.
Yeah.
Had to throw it a little bit shorter.
That was unfortunate. It didn't even make a sound as well, but I guess it was quite an aggressive placement of the ADS. Now, Aces digs the hole through onto dirt. They have the ability to roam through. They want to save those thermites for either church wall if they want to do a close plant, as they've done a couple of times before, or hatches, which is so important to get control of, but you still have the Maverick. It's just the longer you sit on a hatch, especially kitchen hatch, normally you are then met with either a C4 or a huge amount of bullets coming from underneath you. So they kind of want to minimize the amount of time that they're playing around, because one well-placed C4 could completely erase whatever attack strategies you have. Moto is open, though. Moto is open.
Oh, look at this drop. That's so unlucky. Aces could have been picked up right there by Flash, but Flash wasn't ready. Now he will know that he is actually going to be positioned right there. I believe Toda tried to toss over a C4, but that failed to happen. ADS, EMP will be denying. The Evil Eye is going to be actually Flares to take down Aces. Is going to be the big fragger off the board for LeStream, and the entry frag for AVANGARs, and that's something new. An entry frag with the 1 minute mark. That's something that we haven't seen before.
No, we have never seen all the players alive up to this point, and that is saying a huge amount about this games and the matches that we've seen up so far. But there is still 40 seconds, and it's a very steady control coming in. They see the second drop in from Moto on the Maestro cam. They're well aware of what's going on. Alfama is wanting those charges to come across. Bandit is playing around with batteries. They, I'm assuming, picked up 2 there, but Bandit still has 1. They don't get the trick off. They're trying to impact it, and they do get the impact off, though, and that is doubling up and making sure that you hold that church wall, because now it is 15 seconds and LeStream have to find a way inside. They lose another, and it's Thermite off the table now. Capitao suffers a bit of damage as they start to clear up and try and push via the corridors, but bullets are hailing from every single angle, and at this point, AVANGARs are just holding angles with their superior amount of guns. 5-2, there's another one, and they just time it out. LeStream suffered from taking so long to find their boots on that ground.
Yeah, definitely. And once again, the Church Arsenal will be going into the AVANGAR side. Now, let's hope that they can work on this. They can actually take CCTV as well, get the upper hand in the first half.
Yep.
Because that is what they will need if they want to go to Vegas.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Obviously, we keep referencing going to Vegas. I don't think we've actually fully mentioned what is at Vegas. Obviously, the most important thing is going to the Giant Pyramid and going to Vegas, free trip. But no, the most important thing is the huge prize pools. There is 30,000 for first place, and the major spot for the next one, 15,000, 8, 6, and then the next the next 4 teams even get 4,000 each. There's a huge amount of players, huge amount of teams that are going to be there. All eyes are going to be on it. And it's the HyperX Arena, Las Vegas. So we will see you there. But these guys, they're still playing for that place and that place on that plane. And we are 1 round away from the halftime.
And oh my, could have this match been any closer? Yes, on the first 2 maps, but right now we are drawn up. Both teams got more rounds than when they actually lost their map. So this could potentially spell out a possible overtime coming out if AVANGARs are as effective on the attack as they are on the defensive rounds.
Well,
and LeStream is ineffective on their attack as
the thing about the 2 LeStream losses on Church, I would say they were the ones kind of stumbling.
Yeah.
Obviously, kudos cannot be given enough to the roam game that they had in that first round from AVANGARs, but the second time, they had just too much time spent trying to get control, trying to get everything their way before they actually went for the close down. And there's only a few teams that have the ability to be that confident in that final 15 seconds. Now we can see Kama, 2 shock wires in pocket, is going for some aggression here. And
he's waiting for Johnny. As soon as Johnny says they're going to be Hibanaing now, he's going to be running out right there, hoping to get a frag. Now, of course, Hibana is banned, so they will be going for actual entry frag. That's going to be the Jaeger to pick up the Zofia. And look at that utility that's just gone from LeStream right now. They will have issues opening up that wall right now. It's going to be the refrag, though, from Hicks. But, like, LeStream relies so much on using those impact, those stuns, to make sure that the Bandit can no longer trick. That's now being lost.
And what I think is a brilliant way to look at that is we both were surprised at how that room was held last time by the man hiding under the window, and the one who got the frag was Uno creeping up from blue and picking him up from behind. And this time they just waited for Uno. They said, well, they're going to try and find us here, so I'm just going to find Uno here and get the frag. And yeah, it got traded off, but this beautiful call and response from these teams.
Definitely, and they just seem to be playing with each other definitely right now. One team does X, the other team responds with Y, and it keeps on going like that through the entire alphabet and back. As right now the down will be coming down onto Johnny. That means that the Legion will no longer see play. Nitro comes down, will actually pick up that frag beautifully. Hicks removed as well. That's going to be the Thatcher gone, and look at that. Actually we'll be picking up that frag as well. Toda using the Maverick holes against him. And somehow LeStream are just crumbling right now. Toda with another one, 3-on-1, and it's all up to Alphama with a 3 versus 1, but it won't happen. It's going to be Flair to take him down, and it's going to be AVANGAR to get the 3-2 lead.
Well, I know I've said it before, but if you asked me where I thought this game was going to be at right in this moment in time, AVANGAR's up at the halftime. They are 3 rounds away from going to a minor.
Oh yeah.
LeStream wasn't just your prediction. It wasn't just my prediction.
It was basically everyone's
prediction for taking not only before we even knew who they would be up against. Everyone was like, yeah, it's probably going to go LeStream's way. And here they're just being kind of beaten around a little bit by a team that the first map we saw go 6-1 against them. I love Siege.
I love Siege as well. And that's the great thing about this game. This can happen in Siege.
Yep.
Just because out of nowhere a team comes up. And I think that's the great thing about Siege and Esport. It's still relatively new compared to the Giants, League of Legends, CSGO, Dota, where there's established players, there's established teams. They sometimes swap around a little bit. It's always like the top 10 you can probably take every single year and just swap around the order a little bit. There's almost never a new team coming up. And right now we see AVANGAR just trying to beat LeStream out of the arena and take that spot instead.
That's it. It's the magic of the game. Right, well, what are we going to see from the defense here from LeStream? Because we've already talked about AVANGAR and what they did when they transitioned to attack on the previous map, though we didn't see too much of it. We only really saw 2 rounds. But LeStream are a team that can respond aggressively. They can play this map very aggressively. We saw them doubling up on this very point. They threw 2 people to the top floor, Alibi and Kavera, I believe it was, and then they were very happy to kind of play in and amongst that madness, in and amongst that chaos, and collapse back down onto the attack. And those kind of moves and those kind of tricks might be what can stumble AVANGAR, because if you get them thinking about the depth and the height of this map, they could start to struggle the same way that we just saw LeStream struggle the first 2 takes on Church.
But definitely this first attacking round from AVANGAR will be decisive. Now we saw it on Villa as well. We thought, okay, LeStream can put up a big fight. But out of nowhere, AVANGAR just ran in, got 3 kills, and just turned it all around, and the round was over within a minute. And that is something that if they can actually convincingly win this first attacking round, then they might have LeStream on their backs and have the spot somewhat secured.
Well, they're setting up an opening dirt with Thermite. They're going to put pressure on, which is a standard way of pushing this. Obviously, you see a huge amount of different players different ways. Stock hatch is open, and they try to get a lucky pick against someone that goes just a bit too wide. And if there's a team that often does that, they're going to force the man out and try and hammer and anvil him there. There it is!
Beautifully picked up.
Beautiful. That is exceptional play of the Capitao, and shows that's textbook of how
that's
to
how
do
you
that.
clear blue.
And it was beautiful to see the firefight going deep from Oil Pit against the second and first boxes there as ACES pulls further and further back, which is again a rare thing to say about a player like ACES. The suffering pressure as well from dirt. They know that they are closing down from every side, and at this point ACES is really feeling the pressure. We see the other Capitao bolt go down against the door, and I'm a little bit more questionable about the use of that utility, but the creeping in, the man was prone in the door, and he gets the firefight there shut down instantly as they go in. AVANGAR's 5-2 now as they start to creep in and put more pressure. Hicks at least gets 1 back as does Amont, and there is another 1-3 trade. Alfama even. I'm combining names at this point, but there is AVANGAR bringing us to 4-2.
Oh my. 4-2-2, 2 rounds actually away of reaching the minor. They must be dreaming at this point, and this round will give them so much of an uplift in motivation.
Oh yeah.
And like, it could be just like a train right now, or a snowball which keeps rolling, keeps on getting bigger and harder to stop. And well, I believe that's what's happening to AVANGAR right now.
I think that you said it very well, is that round is very important, the one we just saw. It's the changing of the half, because there's no more maps for you to get out of and get a fresh head and go, right, this is what we got to look at. That is your only real opportunity to get a moment to go, okay, fresh start, final fresh start, this is it. And then AVANGAR just get their 3rd round in a row. They get it on attack, and they get it well with metered and balanced and clinical attack strategies. They're pushing and they're prodding and they're playing, and it is perfect.
They're forcing LeStream to show things that they don't want to show right now. As 1 more round for AVANGAR, and they will be secured for at least overtime in this matchup. LeStream will have to decide right now whether or not they will show the bottom of their strat book, or if they will be possibly giving up on the minor and play the way they keep on playing right now.
I mean, it's going to be a hard time in those comms either way, because it's tough to be down in this kind of match, wherever you are and whatever else you're going down, because you're still playing for a tournament, you're still playing for a prize, and you're still playing Siege competitively. These guys love to do this, else they wouldn't be this far in it. Everybody suffers when you're on the back foot, and everybody suffers as well, but yeah, it's the nature of the game, and they're a team that are more than good enough to bring themselves back in. They'll look at that 4-2, and they are good at answering that and good at finding a way around. And you know, I think you called it right. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to overtime.
Indeed. But it will all rely on AVANGAR as well, of course. Like, if they stumble now, LeStream will be more than happy to actually use that to their advantage right here. And it's going to be their mindset whether or not that will be sufficient enough to be as confident as they have been, to be as effective as they have been with their capital balls, clearing out blue, just using the textbook rules on how to clear out certain sites. Now, if they keep on doing that and LeStream is just playing the basics of basics, then they have a good opportunity.
2 minutes 10 on the clock. A load of time and a load of operators still standing. Again, these rounds seem to go one of two ways, but I will say normally when it's this slow, it's when LeStream are on the attack and they're not being met the kind of balance and battles from AVANGAR, whereas I think this is the longest we've ever seen all the AVANGAR players stood, whilst also all the LeStream players are stood, and it's this way around in terms of attack and defend. But here comes that pressure. Hicks is tricking out the Hibana charges, or the Bandit Thermite charges even in Moto, as we've seen him do brilliantly before, is ready and waiting for anyone that might put pressure on that way. And it's an important part to hold, as we saw their attack was situated around that Moto hatch
indeed.
As well.
Now we'll be deploying it in that corner right there, which means that the bot wire will be electrified. No drones will be allowed through. And I think the reason he does this is that if he dies, the Electro Claw will be effective and it will be down there to at least do something post-mortem. Right now, though, Flares will be moving through the dirt tunnel as he used his second exothermic charge. So there's no reason left to keep these Electro Claws in their hands, as the first gas canister is also going to get deployed by Alpha. Actually, second one as well, with 1 minute left, is quite early on, and just stalled him for just a tiny bit of time, as he's just waiting right now. It's going to be the entry frag for Hicks onto the Ash player right there. Yokai drone comes in as well, gets a double stun out on the Termite, who's just falling back casually, but it's going to be Alpha to pick up that frag. 3-on-5 situation in favor of LeStream. LeStream hoping and actually fighting back right here, hoping that they can pick up that third round and bring it to a 1-round deficit.
Well, it was great teamwork there. We saw the Echo feeding the information. Again, I was a bit confused about the second smoke charge, but if it bought them the time to be able to do that, hey, they're the pro players. They know the tactics that they're throwing down, and it's working effectively. Toda has hit a bit of a stumbling block here as he tries to push into blue and utility, but there's the battle as Kama just charges straight up, finds one, but Aces trades it out. Good balance. The push in from Johnny, but finds one and double shut down there as LeStream bring it to 4-3 and take Church on their second visit and their first take of Church in this game so far, as they did lose both attacks as well.
Yeah, indeed. So now, when we are going to see Stevie Cash possibly considered the second side, will it be more easy for AVANGARs to go through as it was for Church? Because that's sometimes the thing I'm thinking, like, right, if they lose this one, it would only get easier from this point to get these takes on going.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see how much weight they put behind the CCTV wall and the balcony wall, because normally that becomes quite a big point of contention. A lot of teams will kind of look at this point and go, well, that's what we've got to get open. That's our A plan. Every time that's the A plan. Get that open, get garage control, push across. And I feel like LeStream are going to be very good at shutting that down, but at the same time, a lot of what we've seen from AVANGAR has been very creative. It's been very different. Indeed. They've been confident enough to go, well, let's not try this A route. Let's try B route. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think the unexpectedness of a team with very little kind of history behind them doing these kind of maneuvers is what is throwing LeStream more than anything.
Yeah, definitely. And something that is still a rule of this match, every entry frag translates into a round. It's still going on.
The statistics.
So I can't stress on how important it is for either LeStream or AVANGAR to get that first frag, because somehow the game just wants to give you the round afterwards and RNG is in your favor. You know,
statistics never lie. Statistics never lie. You can't actually see it, but on the desk right now there's loads of red thread and pins in. And, Hap's got a whole system going on about what is being tracked and who killed who, but for now, we go in 4-3. Obviously, the gap has been slightly reduced by LeStream, and they've managed to shift momentum slightly in their favor as well, and it's in a very important time. Not only was it about to be on match point, but you just lost your first defense. You've got to at least pull something back after that, and you are currently, well, now only 1 round down. You can see they're still holding a bit of aggression there, just on that lounge half wall, and keeping themselves covered and cowered and waiting for someone to kind of approach that main door. But here is what I talked about. They're going fast, hot, and heavy straight against this CCTV wall. They want to get this open, but they don't have the ability to shut Aces down, because by the looks of it, they're still trying to close down underneath. They're putting in the long firefights, hanging off that stripper bar and trying to find the angle across. There it is. There's the bolts. There's the man forced away, and there is that wall open. The amount of utility thrown at getting that wall open as well.
Indeed, but like you need to get that wall open. If you like, rather throw an EMP too much and get the wall open than one too less and actually get tricked out. Because if that happens, you just wasted all your utility and an exothermic charge, so you got nothing out of it. So I think it's a good call right here for AVANGAR. Better be safe than sorry, so to say. As right now they can actually go onto the frag hunt. They have opened up the main objective. Now we'll be opening up below Uno Meister as well, which allows them to potentially enter the garage right here and get an additional angle onto this player to take him out.
Yeah, well, before you heard me say, well, get that wall open and push Garrett, and that's what they're trying to do, and that is what Uno is clutching on, and why he's popping those smoke grenades, because the longer he holds this for, the more and more control they can actually keep of the entire thing. This becomes a very, very important place to hold. You can see he's pulling back, a little bit hesitant, going to try and find the angle and cover with the Echo Drone, and Toda suffers a huge amount of damage, boldly pushing in and rolling against it. Kama misfires the Capital Bolt, unfortunately, doesn't quite get it upstairs enough to push that back, and that could be a very, very big, costly waste of utility now, as they're still digging their way into this garage. The man comes from underneath, doesn't quite get caught either way, but Uno on the sliver of health, still holding the battle, and AC's finds a C4 kill, gets that open, and our predictions come true as LeStream hold on for another 40 seconds. Uno does finally find the man trying to enter there, and then another one, the diffuser carrier goes down. It's a very quick change to a 5-1 now. Johnny, the only one left standing. There's a Fia on that balcony with a lot of rubbish stuff going on. Does find a frag against the smoke, takes them out of the equation, but you can see LeStream peeking around outside from the doors. They have to push in, they do, but they're surrounded by a rocker hard place and 3 guns now as LeStream take another round.
We are drawn back up 4-4, and the next round will decide whoever is going to have the first opportunity of reaching match point. Now, whether it will be AVANGAR or LeStream is yet to be unknown. We're going to be knowing, like we're going to be seeing that within the next 4 to 5 minutes, as LeStream will now be forced to go gym bedroom, as the previous 2 bomb sites are still locked. I mean, they could go bar, but I don't think they want to risk it right now.
We can kind of see the spread of kills there, which we haven't actually commented on too much. Obviously, ACs, who was kind of a bit shut down in the previous map, has find his way back to the kind of frag leader position, bringing in on at 9. And that's normally where you expect to see him. And you know, he's a player that you often cite talisman players and players that can kind of thrive. And I know we've already talked about it, is you can't just be a great fragger and go frag without having a great support structure underneath you. But he is that fragger. He is the one that can roam and can find confidence and can find battles and can clutch stuff out in a list of very good players. And I think seeing him get a bit more confident is great for LeStream.
It's like he feels confident in whatever situation he is playing at, and that is what makes him such a strong, unique player. Like, if he has a support structure underneath, as you say, just put him wherever you want, and he will be getting you those entry frags. Now, prep phase arrives. One of the 2 that we will be seeing before a potential overtime. Kaid will be coming out into play and will be used preemptively, which will be forcing out a Thatcher, which they don't have.
Yeah, so that's obviously a big part of this, and obviously it's the 3rd point. It's a harder one to hold, but at the same time they do have the Maverick. They have ways to bury into Jacuzzi. Yeah. Jacuzzi offers you a little bit more cover than what is otherwise a pretty open killing field with run-out potential on the CCTV balcony, but at the same time it doesn't mean it's easy, especially when you're up against a team that is very confident at finding those battles and finding those picks. This is actually only the 2nd time we've seen Jim today, and LeStream were the team that played it before, and they lost it previously. They actually dropped it last time on their defense, and it was... Oh no, in fact, I tell a lie. They played it twice, they lost it once, and they won it once. And they're 6-2 taking a Clubhouse. But this is a different LeStream, I would say, to what we've been seeing a lot of today.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Uno prepping that window, being ready to go for potential jump out right there. Kama is ready though. Saw it happen, is just hoping for it to actually go for the push as well. Rush is hoping to actually get that frag as well, as they're both watching the same angle. Now, if one fails to get it, the other one might do. Wall has been opened up by Termite in the meantime. It's just Hicks trying to hopefully pick up an aggressive player right there. Because of that wall being opened up, they know that no longer someone will be peeking from that window, and this can direct their attention somewhere else.
Well, they're pre-firing a lot of potential places. Now, we saw LeStream do a pretty aggressive hold on this last time, including mirror windows, where they kind of left this wall unreinforced. But yeah, thinks it's a bandit, is looking for it. Unfortunately, no dice. You know they've been playing Kite a lot today, so you should actually be a bit prepared for it. But the longer you look for feet, the longer you are giving the defenders to kind of wait. Just going to try and man mode it and dig all the way across for this Kaid. And doesn't even get it, unfortunately. You have the hole to open, but that's at the cost of half your health.
Indeed, he lost quite a lot of health right there, but he has to actually, you have to look at it. You can see it if you look through that hole. And that is what they need to do if they want to open up that wall. But somehow they haven't figured that one out yet, and that might be due to a lack of experience. And I'm pretty sure they will be picking Thatcher next round.
Yeah, it's a bit of a miss site. They're just going to dig it open anyway. They're just going to try and find their way into it. But we've seen LeStream play this with even less hard reinforcements on that wall. They had a mirror, but they were still happy to give half of it away. It looks like they're just going to actually breeze straight through. Flares with the diffuser is charging straight into Shower, gets hit, but Aces finds the opening frag as Kama looks across, and there's another one for Hicks there. So they start firing. There's at least a trade back the other way with the long watch from those windows on the southern side. But, you know, Maverick, you've got to start making ground in because the rest of your team, they're close to point. They're putting pressure. The diffuser is now down inside the room, and you've got to play yourself back in. AVANGAR, oh no, Johnny finds a fate there. There's more trades coming out. 2 versus 3, and AVANGAR have kind of lost a bit of the fire. Kama just jumps straight in, I say that, and goes for a quick battle there towards construction, but there's 4 seconds, and LeStream aren't letting them have all of it as they shut down those final 2 frags.
5-4 current scoreline, 3 consecutive rounds for LeStream, and they are looking to take it all. They're looking to get to Vegas, to the HyperX Esports Arena. Now, one more round is all that separates them, as AVANGAR see their dreams somewhat falling apart.
Bring it to us, but for maybe 1 more round, or for maybe 3.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the question. Round number 10. The last round before we potentially enter overtime. It's going to be match point and tournament point for LeStream. Whilst the AVANGARs are falling behind, they're trying to get out on top. But the question is, will they be able to? We're going to be seeing the Ashe, Zofia, Capitao, Thatcher and Termite combo coming down. After last time they didn't bring a Thatcher, they're definitely bringing the Thatcher this time.
Oh, it was such a hole in that push because you know what they're going to be doing. You know how they're going to be reinforcing it. There's so much that you need to take off the boards. Even if just thinking how many lesions you've kind of stepped on when you've done these kind of fast entrances, it's silly not to bring it. Glass is going to actually make his face known for the first time today, I believe, entirely out of all of the matches that we've seen. Yep. It's going to be his first showing today, and hey, now's the time. Bring out the stuff, throw out the strategies we've said. And this is the point. Obviously, Church was so far out of seeing it 3 times in this game. LeStream have lost it 3 times.
1, 2, 3, 4. We've seen it 4 times.
Have we seen it 4 times? Oh yeah, 4 times. And they've lost it 3 times, and they've won it once.
On defense,
yeah, they've won it once. My bad. But it was the most recent one. It was their second defense, but they did lose it on defense as well. They've lost it twice on attack, lost it on defense. So if there was a point for AVANGAR to push and have a bit of confidence, I would say this is the one.
This is the round.
Apart from maybe Bar.
Apart from Bar, because well, I mean, Bar is just Monty, Capital, Plan, right?
Yeah.
I think there's nothing else to it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's set in stone, but this is far from right. We start to descend into the round. Obviously, Rise still has both Yokais in pocket, so hopefully gets those thrown out sooner rather than later. Flares is going to be droning himself ahead into Garage, going for that oil pit control, probably going to drop down and just try and get that long sight line down blue and straight across and really make it uncomfortable for LeStream to have any control of that utility side, of even the kind of flirting with the opening of dirt as well, and just stopping any free movement around that door, because if you force them to one side, you know where they are on the push in. You don't have to worry.
That's indeed the case, and that's probably what AVANGAR and LeStream are both trying to make happen or prevent. As the Yokai drone is actually going to get caught off guard right there, and I'm not sure if that actually will be Electric Claw. That will be a no. I believe it got taken out right there by the EMP grenade. As right now, that means that Motor Hatch has been opened up. Glass as well in the meantime in the oil pit. And we're going to see dirt opened up as well. So they're just going to be trying to pincer into each other, as you said before. Make sure that they all will be on your southern side. And get that plan down. Nice and easy.
We haven't talked enough really about how the fact that Hibana taken off the table is actually quite a big thing about the Church push, because it makes it very hard to get complete control. Yes, you can bring Maverick, you can burn through hatches, but it's a dangerous thing to do, because at that point you're there for a while. You know they like to use C4s because you've already been killed by their C4s before. You know they're a great team at responding to information, and at this point, they've had to decide, well, we're going to break this, we're going to break this. That's all their hard destruction. They're not getting into Church, they're not getting the other drop-downs. They've thrown their cards down now, and it is up to LeStream to respond to this.
What was that flashbang that they threw through? Like, no one was even going to be peeking or dropping, so I'm not sure why that flashbang was being tossed in.
Yeah, you think that maybe they were trying to catch an ADS or something like that, or try and catch, but there wasn't any follow-up. You've got to always think what your utility is, because it is very important, especially at this kind of late round, especially when you've taken this point and lost this point. AVANGAR is just going to hold that very, very tight, but only has one remote gas grenade left for the remaining 50 seconds. So I'm kind of curious where the first two have fallen, where there's not a huge amount of damage, but there is Glaz, who had hard pushed up utility. Aces misthrows the Legion afterwards, but hey, you did just get a frag. I'll let you off this time, as Rush also suffers a huge amount of damage trying to enter from central stairs there, pulling the Legion out. And again, they're still looking at that Church wall, but they have nothing to open it with. And at this point, I'm curious why they're still paying it so much attention.
If they want to go in for motorcycle or something, it just seems to be like their strategy is falling apart right now. It's going to be Kama though to pick up the smoke, but it's still going to be Yokai droned out, and with 10 seconds left, it seems to be an ending dream. We're going to have one more kill coming in from LeStream, two more as we speak, and it's going to be up to Johnny right now, but that won't happen. It's going to be LeStream to eventually clutch it out with a 6-4 and make it to Vegas. It's not going to be AVANGAR, who we hoped it would have been after that second map, especially considering that first half. It's going to be LeStream eventually, the giant of Pro League, to just make it.
Unfortunately, the carriage does turn back into a pumpkin at some point, and the Cinderella story does have to come to an end for now. But we've said it before, we've said it enough. You've got to look at how far that they've come in a tournament where we have never seen them before across